brother!
And welcome everyone to our Fantastic Four before and after prediction. So, we haven't done this before, but what we're gonna do is, we have not seen the movie yet. All we've seen is the trailers. Haven't done any research about it otherwise. Haven't been spoiled, thankfully. But we're gonna give our predictions for the new Fantastic Four movie, and then we're gonna go see it, and then we're gonna see what we got right.
Yeah, exactly. I'm super excited about this. I feel like the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been
a little wibbly-wobbly lately.
It's been a little wibbly-wobbly lately.
Had some good ones.
Right.
Had some not so good ones.
Yeah, but like this one feels like it's got an amazing cast.
Yes.
It's got a huge amount of star power pull. Fantastic Four is like, you know, it's one of the biggest Marvel properties of all time.
It is like the MCU movie that has been like the superhero group that people have been waiting for forever. Right. Like, especially because like the early 2000s one with like Chris Evans and Jessica Alba, like we grew up watching that. Like I feel like we loved that movie, but I feel like when I go on the internet, people are like, "Oh my god,
not that one."
Ugh.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, the second one was pretty bad, but the first one I was really liked. Then there was what came after that, like the Michael B. Jordan one. Yeah, that one is like considered one of the literal worst movies of all time.
Yep. I want to say that its Rotten Tomatoes score is like under 10.
Oh,
like,
that's really bad.
It's very bad for something that would have had such a star-studded cast as well.
Yeah.
So it's very curious. It's very curious in the world that we live in. Like, it makes me wonder what it is like, because we've seen ensembles work really well before. Like, obviously that's what like the whole Avengers situation is. That's a whole bunch of like very big names coming together to fight for a common cause. But I can't tell if what makes that work is the fact that you've got, but then there's Guardians. Like, Guardians is an ensemble cast. Yeah. Where it's got a whole bunch of people who are all sort of doing things.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it the fact that like, that's just so quirky and different from what we're used to? Is it the fact that, like, when you're watching an Avengers series, you sort of know, like, the backstories, and part of what's fun about it is to see, like, Cap and Iron Man, like, riff with each other? But, or is it, like, that the stretchiness of Mr. Fantastic is, like, something that's hard to execute so well that, like, it's satisfying?
I know, yeah, like,
power?
That's the thing. Like, even when I think back to that old movie, the 2000s Fantastic Four, like, when Reed uses his stretchiness to do anything, he, like, catches someone on a bridge and, like, changes the direction the fire hydrant water is going. You know?
Yes,
like,
right.
He doesn't use it very creatively.
Yes.
Like, it is much more all three of the other powers are, like, way more on display.
Yes.
But he's, like, the leader. So, I feel like they really need to make, like, the stretchy part of it, like, very fun. You know, but then they did Miss Marvel, though. They didn't give her the stretchy powers, which is typically what she has. They gave her, like, the light-based, like, punch power things or whatever her power is there.
Yeah.
That was a weird one.
So what ways in which you use, because we're also being set in what seems to be a different Earth. It seems to be during what era of time? Like the 60s?
Like 50s, 60s time period for whatever, like, what we would interpret as 50s and 60s. Who knows what it's like on the Earth they're on.
Sure, like it could be like they've got that stylization, but then also like cell phones or something.
Yeah, right, you know.
Yeah,
but then also, like, Reed Richards is supposed to be the smartest man on Earth, so he'll probably just have, like, way advanced technology that...
Yeah. So, big things that I think come to mind for me from a prediction standpoint is that there's a bunch of major characters that we need to, like, sift through. And the four that I would point out are going to be what's going to happen with Galactus, Franklin Richards, which is going to be the son of Sue Storm and Reed.
Who we know, and she's pregnant in the movie.
Right, yes.
That's in the trailers.
Silver Surfer.
Yep.
And Dr. Doom. And those are, to me, I feel like those are the four big questions. Because it seems like in the trailers, you've got like a scene where you see like this giant foot walking through the city of New York. And,
yes.
I mean, the best bet is going to be that's Galactus.
That's Galactus. I think we know for sure it's Galactus.
Sure. I mean, Galactus is cast in the film.
Right. Silver Surfer is the herald of Galactus.
I herald his beginning. I herald your end.
And, you know, she'll be there.
Right. The thing that throws everything into question is the just absolutely gigantic, way in advance announcement that Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the MCU to play Dr. Doom. And it seems like what the previews would lead you to believe is that this is a Silver Surfer Galactus type of situation and not a Dr. Doom situation.
Yes.
And the major question there is, where will Doctor Doom be introduced inside of the saga? Like,
because he's not in the trailers at all.
He's not in the trailers, but like that would not surprise me in a lot of ways because I could see the foil almost being like, oh, we think we're going to see the Galactus battle. But one of the things is that Galactus consumes planets.
Yeah.
And if he's walking on Earth, then he's already not big enough to consume the planet unless that's like part of his...
I think he can just change shape.
He can just
get bigger, change size and stuff like that.
I
think like when you know, there are times when you see Galactus in the comics where he's like, you know, staring at a planet and it's like this big, and other times where he's like walking on the planet through the city, like just fighting stuff. So I don't know. But the thing they've said about Galactus in the MCU is that there is only one Galactus.
Okay.
But like he can... but he goes to different universes to consume the planets or whatever like that.
Right.
Which, if that's the case, if there's really just one Galactus in this multiverse, then I have to tell you, I feel like the Fantastic Four is going to lose in this movie. Because I don't feel like they're just going to be like one and done on Galactus, you know what I mean?
Well, it's a very good question. It's a very good question because I think that part of like Franklin Richards' abilities is to create like portals through time and space and stuff.
Is that his ability?
I think that is like part of like he is considered like I think like absolute top tier power capability individual, you know, and can do some really major stuff.
So I'm sorry, I'm sure they're going to win because that's it. I doubt they're going to destroy Galactus.
Maybe they'll put him somewhere.
They'll put him somewhere, and then they're like, wait a minute. Now we have to go save that where.
Yes,
and
right,
that's here.
And that's here. That's gonna bring the situation together. That would make a lot of sense to me. The other thing I think is really interesting about Franklin in particular is that they introduced very early on the scene inside of the trailers where they show up and Johnny Storm is sort of like, you're late.
You're late.
What do you mean?
And of course, it's half interpreted as a like you're late for dinner, and it's also like you're late like you're expecting,
right?
Type of situation. So I do think that Franklin's going to be a big deal. The thing I think is interesting about Franklin is that currently the cast person set to play it is Ada Scott, Ada Scott. I think it's a foil. I think that this is like something that the MCU has been able to do, and I think Franklin Richards is going to be played by Adam Scott of Severance.
Oh!
And that's going to be, and he's going to enter the MCU.
Oh, that would be such a good, like, you know, okay. Like, so do you think a grown-up here's a prediction. Will a grown-up Franklin Richards appear in the movie?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so. I think so. And I think it's going to be played by Adam Scott.
Okay. Wow, that's a really bold one. Okay. Yeah. Doctor Doom so we can do this two ways. Will Victor Von Doom be in the movie?
I think Victor Von Doom will be in the movie. I think Doctor Doom will be in the post-credit scene.
Okay. I think they will allude to Victor in the movie, and then he will show up in the post-credit scene.
Okay, and it's a very important question as well, because it's like, using Robert Downey Jr. is basically like a major ace card, because I think that it's just such a big deal to see, like, you're dealing with somebody who has an enormous amount of clout, no matter how you feel about him returning. And so it's very interesting to see how that will be played, because I do think that typically he is the financier of, like, Reed Richards' endeavors, like his scientific endeavors. So Reed is like the genius, but not the billionaire. That's where Victor Von Doom comes in.
Right. Well, I think Victor is also like extremely smart, but Reed's always just like a little bit smarter.
Okay. Yeah. So that's one where it'll be curious to see like where is their headquarters. They are already established as the Fantastic Four. This shouldn't be an origin story type of film.
Yeah, I don't think we need to really get... I mean, maybe it'll be mentioned, but I don't think this is like an origin story. Like, I think the movie starts... They are the established Fantastic Four, the heroes of this world, like the Avengers, basically.
Right.
You know, but to that end, will there be other superheroes in the world that they are in?
Oh, what an amazing question. Because I think one of the big things to wonder about is whether or not in this world, like, Robert Downey Jr. as Victor Von Doom, for example, is, like, is he the same entity that Tony Stark is, but different?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because both instances you have billionaire geniuses. Right?
Well, you just said he's not a billionaire. He's a well-funded genius.
Who's that?
Reed Richards.
No, not Reed Richards.
Oh,
Victor
yeah.
Von Doom.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So if you have Tony Stark, who is genius billionaire, and you have Victor Von Doom, genius billionaire, are they the same? Like,
Oh.
but like different.
Right.
Like, because if that's the case, it opens the door wide for there to be for them to be
It's
playful.
very similar because they could, he could do that. Like, you know, like Victor Von Doom, like pretending or like being, you know, Iron Man or whatever.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
like, you know, and by the end of it, it's just like, nope, now I'm officially a bad guy and I'm Doctor Doom instead. Because, like, you know, Doctor Doom always has the Doom bots, but Iron Man always had like the Sentinel, you know, like Iron. What was it called? He has like the other Iron Man suits that can kind of just like act on their own.
Right. So
You know?
then part of the question is, it's almost like does Stark Industries exist? And he just takes the moniker of Doctor Doom and we just bail on Victor Von in the first place.
No, they gotta have Victor Von Doom.
Okay.
Victor Von Doom is a real character.
It does. It feels like that's too true to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he's typically the ruler of a country called Latvaria.
Okay.
Do you think Latvaria gets mentioned?
Okay, so Moon Knight
Right.
went somewhere where he wakes up and the image of the castle in the background looks exactly like Latvaria.
It does.
And it's like, whether or not that's intentional is a massive...
We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it could just be sheer coincidence that they happen to be in some type of town that looked the same as the illustration, or it's incredibly intentional and that's absolutely what it is, which would then sort of bring into the fold, like, does Latvaria matter on the MCU Earth as we know it, but it's information we have to learn from the Fantastic Four's Earth?
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think
what they'll know-
Latvaria will be mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah, and then will it have been Latvaria in Moon Knight? Is it, who knows?
Right,
I
'cause
know.
then-
I kind of hope so.
Because then potentially it's like, oh, we were right on the edge. He was right there.
He was
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah.
so cool. Because then, you haven't seen much of, like, Moon Knight show up anywhere else in the MCU.
Right.
Since the show. So
Okay.
that would be a good one.
Next question. Does anyone die?
Of the Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Nope.
Hard stop.
All survive.
Okay.
All survive. Absolutely, I think. Yeah, I think they will all survive. Okay, next question then. Since we're in multiverse realm, will you see any other version of any other versions of the Fantastic Four present here? Because we've at the very least seen Johnny Storm in Deadpool vs. Wolverine.
Yep.
We know his fate.
Yep.
And you can quote me on that.
Right? Yep.
We know that. And we've at least seen John Krasinski play a version of Mr. Fantastic as well. So who's to say whether or not that happened in the future or past on whatever world they were on in Multiverse of Madness.
Right.
So, like, we know there are other Fantastic Fours out there and other Reed Richards in the multiverse.
Right, you're right. It's a great question, yeah, like whether or not like a John Krasinski type person would show up. And I am so torn on that. Like where my weight is leaning is no.
Okay, yeah. I kind of think so. I don't think there will be another. Yeah, I don't think we'll see one.
Right. Like I think the Fantastic Four has enough major like aha moments that will thrill fans that they don't need to do excessive fan service.
Okay.
Is where my thought is. In the singular exception there is basically Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Well, yes, I think. Yeah. Because why make Doctor Doom is the Fantastic Four villain?
Yes.
And he's going to be a huge. He's getting his own Avengers movie.
Right.
He's.
It's got to be.
They can't not be in there. Right?
If it doesn't even have to be the main focus of the film, but the breadcrumbs have to start.
They have to start here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to that end, though, there's a lot of other potential characters that could show up in post-credit type scenes here. Will we see either a Wong or Doctor Strange show up, or America Chavez, or Nick Fury, because Nick Fury, could any of those people? Do you think any of those people show up in a post-credit scene?
That feels likely, especially because it seems like because I could see a world where what happens is they save their world in a way that makes the audience feel sort of comfortable with them leaving it, basically suggesting that wherever they depart from will be okay.
Right.
Like, it's in good hands, or it was left safe, or everything is fine. And I could almost see them, like, skittering through some rubble or something and, like, waking up and being like, about time you guys got here.
Right. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, like, they have to sacrifice themselves in an effort to defeat Galactus to save their world from Galactus, but then where they wake up is
Right.
here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Let's get more specific here. Will there be X-Men stuff? Because if there's one other ensemble group that hasn't truly entered the MCU, other than some, like, Charles Xavier cameos, and there's been, like, a cameo at the end of the Marvels. We saw Charles Xavier in Multiverse of Madness. We saw, obviously, Deadpool and Wolverine exists.
Yeah.
So, like, but there has not been a proper MCU X-Men movie.
No, and in a struggling MCU that's looking to finally, at long last, capitalize on its majorist properties, you basically have Fantastic Four and X-Men that need, like, their time in the sunlight.
Like, we have the Avengers. We need the other two big ones.
Right. You gotta start figuring out, like, what is going to get people back in the theaters to see these major team up events, and you have to have beloved characters in order to do that.
Well, especially because Superman just came out, and they hit their hard reset. We're brand new, launching the DCU.
Yes,
and people are loving it, and rightfully so. It's very good.
Yeah. So, I mean, but that's like shots fired as far as, like, Marvel is concerned, because they've got to own the spotlight for the past 20 years.
I know.
It's like, it's about time, for everything to... Yes.
I think it is good news for Fantastic Four that Superman is doing well, because I think people are going to want to have opinions about both and say, like, oh, this one was good, this one was bad, or whatever.
I mean, there's nothing better than ultimately doing something that brings that conversation to the centerfold. Like, like a DC versus MCU scenario. Like, even, I mean, it would benefit everybody to do that.
Yes.
Like, I don't mean externally, I mean
you mean on screen?
Yes.
You mean like a crossover event?
A crossover event.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I mean, it would be ambitious and crazy and require so much collaboration, but it feels like the kind of world that we're starting to live in, where people are more fast and loose with what it means to have control over these specific properties, and basically the critical mass that merging worlds ultimately has.
Yeah.
And in a world where it seems like EU is launching a new universe, and Marvel is absolutely doing its darndest to figure out how to restructure in a way that will create more optimism about future films. Like,
yeah, well, I think and Kevin Feige came out, like, I think just this week, saying that they are going to, like, scale back in terms of, like, quantity of things they're making, and try and focus again on quality. Like, in, like, phases 1 through 3, they made, like, 100 hours of content. And then in, like, the last, which was, like, 10 years or something, and then, like, the last 4, they've made, like, 250 hours of content.
Right.
And it's just, like, it's too much.
It's
like,
too much.
They're, like, printing homework now instead of, like, events.
Yes.
Which is what it used to feel like,
Yeah, I mean, it used to be the kind of thing where it was sort of like, nobody breathed. There's a new Marvel movie coming out this week. Like, we don't know what's going to happen next. And it was, the captivation level was amazing. But it's also, I think, good, I mean, just as a brief aside, like, for the entire film industry, I think that, like, I think there's moderation can actually maintain our thirst in a way that helps create a better environment for movie going.
Yeah.
So something to look forward to. But I think all that said, now all we can do is go see the movie.
Now we can go see it. All right. We'll see you in a little bit. All right, y'all, before we dive into our post-viewing thoughts and reactions, we need to give a big thank you to today's sponsor, Raycon. The Fantastic Four isn't the only thing making a massive comeback better than ever. We've loved Raycon's everyday earbuds for years, and if there ever was one thing I wish they had, it is noise cancellation tech, and now at long last they've got it. Raycon is the perfect way to tune out the rest of the world and tune in to something great. And catch this, they have 8 hours of playtime on a 32-hour battery life, and audio quality that rivals big audio brands at half the price. Seriously, I've used my other pair of Raycons every weekend for months, and I think I've had to charge them once, like way better than my old wireless air earbud things that I had to charge like every night. Plus, I love that you can turn the noise cancellation on and off. This feature is awesome for, like I said, gardening. I can pop out, have my audiobook playing, but still hear my kids clearly, whether they're yelling from the house or just playing in the yard. Usually, I can hear them. Even, you know what? Even without the noise cancellation, it's loud. But I think you know what I mean. Like, there's nothing worse than turning around and having an angry child be like, I was yelling for you! And you're like, I couldn't hear you, I was listening to my book. But also nothing better than not hearing all the kids who aren't mine on the airplane. So, you know, mode for every occasion. So go to buyraycon.com/SuperCarlin to get 20% off the fan favorite Everyday Earbuds Classic. Right now, Raycon is offering 20% off their Everyday Earbuds Classic. Buyraycon.com/SuperCarlin, sponsored by Raycon. Link in the description down below. Back to the video. And we're back! Oh my gosh, 2 fantastic hours later.
Goodness gracious, and one sleep on top of that. And we have a handy new popcorn bucket.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Still has popcorn in it. Oh my gosh.
We went for the bucket.
How could we not? Look at this thing. And look. It's not even done. Dude, I love the revival of the popcorn bucket at the movie theaters.
It's pretty awesome.
They're so wild. Like some of them I'm like, how do you even? Why would you even? But then I saw this one and I was like,
the thing that blew my mind was standing. Like we had bought ours. We're waiting for the rest of the team to get there, and I couldn't believe the number of other people who like walked past it and they were like, I'm going for it. I was like, good for you guys. Yeah. So now we have this forever. So that's great.
So now we'll have it forever.
Yeah. Okay, so now we have seen Fantastic Four.
Yes, we have.
First steps.
Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
Well, I mean, right out of the gate, I would say that I really liked it.
Yeah.
I thought that it was a very, very fun movie on the whole. It was very interesting to see the ways in which we were kind of right with certain predictions and ways in which we were completely like off on other things as well.
Yes, we danced around a couple of good things there.
We did.
So what I really liked about it is that there is just no homework required for this movie.
Yes.
Like at all. You don't have to have seen a single Marvel movie for this to make sense.
Right.
Like you go in, they explain to you what happened to them. Their powers are pretty like, you know what they are, and they start using them, and there's a big threat, and they got to go fight it. You know.
Yes. It ends up working out really well, and I thought it was very interesting as well because in addition to sort of this idea of like Marvel maybe drawing like an invisible line in the sand, there wasn't like right out of the gate, there wasn't like that like comic book Marvel logo ticker thing.
Yeah.
It was like they like broke away from that and they just like used like a new just sort of like Fantastic Four themed Marvel logo.
1960s style-esque.
Yes, yeah. which was very interesting to me because I wasn't sure if that was them being sort of like, yes, the days of old are behind us, or if it's sort of like this is its own, like this is like universe like Earth 828.
Right.
So it's like this is a different one, so like we can't signify or like display all of those other Marvel characters because they're not a part of like what you're about to see.
It felt like a deliberate thing where like sometimes if you see that Marvel logo, it could be a reminder of all the things you didn't see.
Exactly.
All the other movies that like, oh, do I need to be keeping track of that or remember that? It's like, nope. This is all you need to know. This is just it. This is Marvel.
Yes.
This is the Fantastic Four in an alternate Earth 878, which like even immediately when they show you Earth 878, I was like that they show you the title of it, and I was just like, oh my god, they're already like multiverse. Different Earth, okay, whatever. Right. But then at the end, they show you that it's like in memory of Jack Kirby and his birthday is August 28th. And it was like, I see why you did that.
It was very cool. It was like, oh, I like it.
That was fun.
Like it. Yeah, that was really good. So let's dive into some of the predictions that we just covered as far as the people watching are concerned.
Yes.
Where will Doctor Doom be introduced? I personally weighed in that Victor was going to be introduced inside of the movie, and then that Doctor Doom, the moniker, would be introduced in the credit, while you just thought that we would allude to Victor Von Doom, and that he would then show up in the post-credits.
Okay, so there is, I would say I was more correct then.
I would say that you nailed it in one.
Yeah.
Because yes, there was absolutely, and it kind of like went hand in hand with another one of our predictions about Latvaria.
Yeah.
And whether or not that was going to be like an aspect or brought up or anything inside of the film. And largely what we ended up seeing was a lot of Latvaria references with the representative from Latvaria not being present.
there.
Yeah,
Yes.
which of course would be
Victor Von Doom.
Victor Von Doom
Yeah.
and Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
And then obviously, basically in one, you got it where it's like you get to the post-credit scene, and I thought it was very funny, the post-credit scene, because the book that she is reading to Franklin, that Sue is reading to Franklin, is The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carl, which is basically like a caterpillar that keeps eating everything.
Yeah.
And so it's like very
very
perfect.
Galactus.
Yes, exactly. She walks away and then comes back, and Dr. Doom is there, kind of like interacting with the child.
With the kid.
And so clearly whatever happened was Victor Von Doom is watching from somewhere on the sidelines and realizes that one Galactus super wants that baby. And then he's sort of like, okay, hot commodity. I want that baby.
I want that baby. Yeah. That kid's powerful. I'm going to be powerful.
Yes, indeed. So I think that was sort of prediction number one and where it ended up going. Prediction number next is, will the Fantastic Four lose or not destroy Galactus / put him somewhere else?
Well, they didn't lose, but they absolutely just put him somewhere else.
They absolutely did. Yes. I feel like the running joke that we kept having as we were walking out of the theater with the rest of the team is that it was like very similar to the Alaskan bullworm episode of SpongeBob.
That's their first solution. What if we push Bikini Bottom?
We should take Bikini Bottom and push it somewhere else.
Somewhere else.
Yes. So that's basically what the original plan that Reed comes up with is why don't we just teleport all of Earth to a different spot?
Right.
Which does feel like, as smart as Reed is, I can't imagine a world where like there's not tsunamis and volcanoes and earthquakes and all sorts of stuff that would happen as a result of...
And I guess when you're trying to say that, like, yeah, but that's better than being destroyed, it's like, I guess so.
Right. Yeah, the lesser of two evils. But so that was interesting, but then it was a very like, neat setup, I guess, for then it being kind of like, oh, okay, but now that we have all these transporters, it's kind of like then when he actually shows up, we don't have to transport the whole Earth. We just have to transport Galactus, millions of miles away, and then he'd be without
his spaceship.
Without a spaceship and the Silver Surfer. So ends up being kind of like an interesting setup for what feels like a problem that is just destined to return.
Yeah, absolutely. Galactus is not done, and they've said that Galactus is a single entity within the MCU, so across all Earths and whatever multiverses, there is but one Galactus, and this was him.
Yes. So it feels like that to me is like the... sort of tossing or shooting the arrow into the future a little bit for the inevitable, like why everybody will end up teaming up. Because now it's like, if before, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Thanos as far as Galactus was concerned. Because in Infinity War, you have a Thanos that's kind of like benevolent almost. Like it's like he has the like glorious purpose to steal
he has like his own twisted logic.
Exactly, but it's like he's not sitting on a specific throne. It doesn't seem like
to rule.
Right, like he's not trying to like gain notoriety or importance or anything. It just seems like he has this thing that he must do, and then upon doing it, he goes, and lives on this planet by himself. He snaps the stones out of existence, and you're sort of like, okay. But then Endgame comes around, and it seems like Thanos is like, okay, now I'm annoyed with you guys.
Right.
And it's like, then he just becomes like a villain as we know them in most Marvel movies.
Every other Marvel movie,
and I feel like that's kind of like Galactus. Like, Galactus isn't like necessarily like, I hate you guys, you're the scum of the earth, you're a parasite, like whatever, this planet needs to be
He's more like a parasite.
And he knows it. He's like, I don't want to do this, but I have to. Right. I have the hunger, I must eat.
He has like the power cosmic is like the MacGuffin word is for what the problem is, and I guess it ties together pretty nicely as well, because whatever force is driving him is clearly the same force that has imbued the Fantastic Four with their powers.
Oh, sure.
Because then Sue and Reed have their baby, Franklin, and he also has the power cosmic.
Right.
And so Galactus recognizes the baby and is like, oh my gosh, someone can take my place at long last. And so he wants the baby, and of course they're not willing to trade.
Yes.
Which also that did when they're like the price was too high. That did remind me so much of like Infinity War and Endgame, where like time after time again, like you cut to the characters in caps, like, we don't trade lives.
We don't trade lives, Vision.
Yes, exactly.
And it was just like, that was a very Marvel move.
Yes, it was. Yeah. It seemed like that's sort of like the moral like compass that Marvel is going to keep sticking to, and like what its characters are going to stick to.
It definitely like painted like Reed as he's the one who makes it. He's just like, the price was too high. That like it made you feel like Reed has like the same moral compass as like Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers, sure.
Yeah. Although mixed in with like the Iron Man problem of like, I have to imagine every worst case scenario and then try and prevent it, like the shield of armor around the Earth or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, I mean, it's great that you said that, because I felt like Reed was almost a hybrid of Tony Stark and Steve Rogers.
Right.
Like, you know, he is like both sort of like the genius that is Tony Stark, but it seems like he's kind of got the burden of responsibility that Steve has got, and then you know, sort of like woven together in like a neat fabric, a very stretchy fabric.
A very stretchy fabric.
So
not as stretchy as you'd think.
Maybe not as stretchy as you think.
Yeah.
Well, actually, on that note, but just to touch on it, since you brought it up, I thought that it was kind of like interesting, because one of the things that I think is tricky with Mr. Fantastic is the power isn't like the coolest thing to show. Stretchiness. Yeah. And it felt like maybe it was like used sparingly.
Well, I agree with you, and I will say it's not typically the coolest one, but I've seen good versions of the stretchy power before. But I would say, to date, Elastigirl is still the best Mr. Fantastic.
Yes,
so far.
Right.
Like, just, she is. Like, that Pixar uses Elastigirl's stretchy powers way more fun and uniquely than Marvel has been able to do yet in any version of the Fantastic Four.
Right, and I think that the medium helps, because I think that being animated in the first place means that you're not using kind of like Uncanny Valley CGI, because it just already fits what you're expected to see.
Yes.
So it's like you can do all these things with Helen, and it works with Elastigirl, that is.
Yeah.
Speaking of Fantastic Four, I don't know if this is like a deeper Fantastic Four lore type of situation, but as soon as like the Mole Man showed up, and like the subterranean aspect of the city, I was just like, that is the Underminer.
That's the Underminer. I know. Yeah. And it's like, are you guys copying The Incredibles? But then it's like, you know, The Incredibles is based on the Fantastic Four. They just swap out Johnny and Dash's powers, and then like shuffle them around a little bit. But then even down to Jack being like the most powerful one, and the one the villain's after, sort of, and like it's still the four of them, but then there's this baby that can do stuff too.
Yes, exactly.
Like, all of that is present, but then the Underminer shows up, and it's like, is Mole Man like we don't know, because I haven't read like the old Fantastic Four comics, but like is the Underminer based on the Mole Man character from old Fantastic Four movies, or were they like, hey, you know what, or comics, or were they like, let's throw, like, Pixar did an homage to us, so let's an homage to them.
Exactly.
Is it like a art copies, or, you know, art imitates life, imitates art situation going on?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I thought that was really fun. And then the next thing we had on our list here is the Ada Scott question, which was my boldest of predictions, which is that Franklin would somehow end up being the actor Adam Scott, and we would see Franklin as like a full-grown adult. And the obvious answer to that is no, we didn't. Franklin was just a baby the whole time, and very plot-driven is the fact that Franklin is a baby the whole time. However, there was a moment in there where Franklin is being born as they're actively escaping a black hole, and they're talking about time dilation and how Silver Surfer will be stuck inside of the vortex of the black hole for months, even with her considerable speed. Right. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're about to time dilate this baby into
like growing him up really fast.
Like, yes, exactly. Like, I was like, I'm literally sitting there like all the pieces are there.
Like, all of a sudden, he's just going to be a grown person.
Time is about to be wimbly-wombly in a way that is going to be very interesting. But it'll be very interesting to see what they do with Franklin as time goes forward, because he can either be sort of like this superpowered baby MacGuffin type of character, where it's just sort of like, right now, still just a baby, still just a small child, will someday be so big that, like, you know, like we have to treat them as a character. So it'll be interesting to see what the timeline is for how they have Franklin grow up.
Yeah, absolutely, it will, because they did show a somewhat older version of Franklin up to 5 years old. but they didn't. So that prediction remains unresolved as to who will play Franklin.
That's right.
So it could still be Adam Scott. You don't know.
You don't know.
As for this movie, it wasn't there.
It wasn't there. And I will say, and this was probably something that people may have been shouting at the screen when I made that prediction, before, is that Adam Scott does play Ben Parker in the Madam Web series. And I have seen, after seeing the movie and after confirming that it wasn't Adam Scott, I did Google a little bit about him, which is how I ended up discovering that he played Ben Parker. And it's interesting because it seems like 50% of the internet is like, Adam Scott will never return to a superhero movie again because of how bad Madam Web did. And then the other 50% is Adam Scott says that he would gladly return to the MCU for future roles. So
Madam Web is not an MCU movie.
It's not an MCU movie. It's a Marvel movie.
It's a Marvel movie.
Yes. Yeah. So, but anyway, so just worth bringing up there that Adam Scott has in fact played a Marvel character, and even a fairly important one to boot.
Well, but that doesn't. I mean, Chris Evans played the Human Torch, and then he was back as Captain America.
You're exactly right.
And
so
it happens.
Yes. Yeah. Question number next is, do we think it will be an origin story? We were kind of under the impression that no, it would not be. And I would say that one we're probably like it's not an origin story film, but we do get a lot of exposition.
Yeah.
And I thought the way that they did the exposition worked really well, which is to sort of have it's been 4 years since these 4 astronauts returned from space, and it allowed us to see, I keep calling him Richie because I feel like I'm failing to know the actor's name. The guy who plays the Thing is
Evan Moss.
Okay, Evan Moss is a prominent character in The Bear, where he plays the character Richie.
Yes.
In! Yeah.
And they even have the Thing cooking in this show, which Richie doesn't really do, but the fact that he's doing restaurant things.
Yes. He comes from a notable cooking show,
right?
And then that ends up being a characteristic about the Thing. I thought that was really fun. Where would you land on origin story?
I would say it was not an origin story. They include what the origin was, but it's not that's the purpose of the movie.
Right. Yes, and it seems like the world has become very well adjusted to the fact that the Fantastic Four are kind of their saviors.
Thank you, Fantastic Four. Thank you.
Thank you, Fantastic Four!
And for the most part, I think this actually covers the very next question we have on our list. Will there be other superheroes in the story? And it seems like the answer to that is largely no.
The answer was no, but there were other super villains, I guess.
Right.
Or it's hard to say. We didn't get to really see a lot of those fights. I guess we had, I liked that they had really funny names, there's Diablo over there, or
oh sure, yes,
or
yes.
Red Hawk, or what, I don't know, that wasn't that. They had very funny comic booky. Silly villain names.
Right,
yeah.
Yes.
In a way that felt sillier than just regular Marvel villain names.
Well, and it worked so well, too, because it kind of reminded me a little bit of The Incredibles, and sort of The Incredibles ran into an interesting problem where so many superhero names had been claimed that they had to sort of work outside the box to come up with things that could work. Elastigirl! Which always made me wonder whether or not that was where the Underminer came from in the first place, because it's such a goofy, I might be beneath you, but nothing is beneath me! Oh, man. So great. But oh my gosh, I lost my... Oh, the setting is sort of this 60s, but also futuristic version of the 60s element,
right?
Which allowed you to really live inside of the super nostalgic, very early comic book looking, cartoon shows that were very much a part of the world that they live in, that are based off of these real world heroes and stuff.
Even that is in The Incredibles.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
There's a little Pixar short where you can it is Bob and Frozone watching the cartoon and just doing commentary over it, and the cartoon is so corny.
Oh, is it
and
really?
Just what is this? What is this?
It wasn't like that.
Yeah, it wasn't like that.
But yeah, no other superheroes in the story. They are the Guardians of Earth.
And not just the Guardians, seemingly the leaders almost. The countries have their own leaders, but when there's problems, the whole world is Fantastic Four, what should we do?
Exactly.
And whatever they say, they're let's do it.
Right.
It is a global, it was what is the word? A global community, very dissimilar to our own Earth.
Yes, I know. Yeah, it was very interesting in that way, with the one little reality strike being the Galactus sympathizers that were making protests or something. It's that probably would happen.
It's because the whole problem, well, even the way they interact with them, it's was extremely honest. They go to space, they talk to Galactus, and Galactus is like, give me your baby and I'll spare the Earth. And they're like, absolutely not. And then they come back and they're like, Galactus asked for our baby and he'd spare the Earth, and we said no.
Are we safe? I don't know.
Right,
obviously,
right. Yeah,
obviously.
we said no. Obviously. Yeah, Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal. We said no. Obviously. Yeah.
Oh man, it was so great. But oddly refreshing. Like, I know this is like a weird thing, but I used to always say, like, when I was like going through like my high school like romance years or whatever and stuff, like, you know, dating, is that I feel like a lot of times, you know, you're hearing the truth if it hurts a little bit.
Right.
Because it's sort of like the real truth is probably like, you know, the unpolished version of it probably will hurt a little bit.
Right.
And I felt like that was kind of like what they were doing, was sort of like they were giving like responses like, what are they like, what happened? It's like, well, they wanted a baby and we weren't going to do that. So that's where we're at.
That's where we're at.
And it's kind of like, oh.
Yeah, but they're all like, you didn't defeat him? They're like, we talked to him.
Yeah. We did our best.
Yeah. We tried.
Right. Okay, moving on down our list here, we have are Tony and Victor the same but different, both genius billionaires. So the rough idea that we outlined earlier was essentially that what you're going to end up with is approximately like a carbon copy of Tony Stark, but in this particular, like in Earth 828, that is just Victor Von Doom. So, right. You know, like same like DNA, if you will, but like different outcome.
Right. That's unconfirmed.
Unconfirmed. I'm leaning towards that will not be the case.
Yeah.
And we will not have like a what feels like Tony Stark character. We will just have like a fresh, whole new Victor Von Doom.
Right.
Although inevitably someone somewhere will a former superhero will interact with Victor Von Doom and be like, Tony?
I mean,
like,
absolutely, he's going to arrive. I mean, you can see the plot moving forward. Clearly, they're going to merge with the regular Earth at some point, and like there's so much of like phases 4, 5, 6 have been like a lot of the story. Like there'll be like, you know, Iron Man murals and people like, oh, Tony's gone or whatever. Yeah. Like his legacy has been like a big part of the next phase of the MCU. So like if a would-be Tony shows up and is kind of like building similar things, and like you can see how he'll have like a lot of charisma and pull, and you know,
absolutely,
it's going to work out really well for Victor Von Doom.
Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. Do we think Latvaria will be in play? I feel like we've kind of covered a little bit of this, but yes, it definitely seemed like Latvaria was like...
Yes, it was there.
Yes, it's almost right away. Actually, it was really funny at one point in time because you were leaning forward to like set the popcorn bucket on the ground, and I saw the Latvaria like tag, and I was like, Jay! And then you looked at me instead of the screen, and then you looked at the screen, and it was gone. Yeah. And it was like, what was it? And I was like, oh, Latvaria.
There it was.
Yeah.
So no Moon Knight confirmations or anything.
Right, yes.
But that's of course on a different Earth, but whatever.
Next question is, does anyone die?
Oh, well, I mean, you know, yes and no.
They flirted with it so much.
They did.
There was a couple of times where, because I think I asked this question when we were doing the prediction half of it, and I was like, does someone die? And then like there were a couple moments where it's like, oh man, like Johnny's gonna sacrifice himself, like that's about to happen, and then Silver Surfer goes and like knocks him out of the way or whatever, and you're just like, oh shucks.
Oh jeez.
Well, not that I wanted Johnny to die, but you know, it was like almost. And then Sue goes all like, Super Mom!
Dude, yeah, they give Sue Storm like the do not mess with the don't anger the mama bear, you know.
That's it, yes.
That was the scene.
Right.
And I love how he's just like, you just totally buy it too. You're like, that is what would happen.
Yes.
You're right.
It was the superhero equivalent of real world people lifting cars off of babies.
Yes, that's what it was.
It was just sort of like, you can't attack my child because I can, like, a single human with powers, am going to literally be able to control this thing.
Yes.
A building size superhuman power thing.
Right. But again, it's like their power clearly came from the same cosmic force that like is really like powering all of him.
Right.
You know. So it's like it is believable that she can push him back.
Right, yes. Yeah, they're kind of like made of the same
thing. And her she was just at like maximum effort or whatever.
One of the things I thought was kind of clever, and I don't even know if this was like fully intentional or not, but I noticed it either way, is that when Sue is down and believed to be like gone, her leg is sort of like bent at an angle that makes a 4. So it's like, I don't know if like that's intentional or not.
I think so. Yeah. The 4 was everywhere.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. So I was like, oh, Look at that.
Look at that right there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Next question. We will see any other version of the Fantastic Four. Will we see John Krasinski? We were leaning towards no.
Yeah, no, and we did not. There are no other versions of the Fantastic Four. All I could think is like, I mean, when Sue dies, she's like, she's not gonna die. But it's like, part of me was like, is this like now they'll have to go find a different Sue Storm or something?
Oh, that would be nuts.
Yeah, like, are we gonna bring Jessica Alba back? Or?
Pull her out of retirement.
Yeah, right.
I can almost guarantee at this point in time that we will see Jessica Alba again.
Yeah.
That feels like Marvel and the phone call and
right.
lots of money. And, all those things. All right, let's see here. Will we see any other established MCU people? Doctor Strange, Nick Fury, maybe in the post-credit scene is what we thought. Like a world where, and we weren't terribly far off. Like, they created the teleporter thing. Yep. They clearly sent Galactus somewhere where they would have believed it to be safe. Our thought was effectively that maybe they would end up being sucked into it,
right?
And that would be the way that like they come skittering, through the rubble or whatever, and Nick Fury sort of like, about time you guys got here.
Yeah, something, whatever like that. Yeah.
But no, that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. Yep. No other Marvel presence is in this movie.
I think it's for the better.
I agree. It was nice to have just a good standalone movie.
Yes. Yeah. It made it incredibly enjoyable. It felt like it had its own world, its own rules, its own people. Like, I do think that one of the things the MCU is up against a lot is that like you start to understand it and kind of come to terms with the like what it would be like to be a citizen on that Earth. Yeah. And be like, we're constantly under attack from aliens. Like, it's like, it's hard for us to live our lives. And like, we all know these people and like, inevitably have opinions. And it's exactly what the Sokovia Accords is about, which is that like incredible power invites incredible opposition.
Right.
And that's a danger for everybody.
It's so funny that was sort of the attitude in this movie, like in the world that they created for this movie, because it's almost exactly the attitude of the people in the Superman movie.
Oh, interesting.
That just came out, where it's just like, there's one really great scene in that movie where like Lois and Clark are talking, and like in the background you can see like a bunch of other superheroes fighting this like giant plasma alien eyeball that's like attacking the city. And it's like sort of funny that they're having this like serious emotional conversation and a very silly battle is happening behind them. And she's at one point she's even like, do you need to go like, he's like, oh no, that's just like a demon eye from where it's. It's like no, it's just like sort of the monster of the day. Those three can officially handle that thing. They don't need me.
Right. Yeah. They don't need to call in the big guns for that one.
Like that's no, and like that, like even when there's like big attacks in the city, like people don't run. They're like, oh, let's go see Superman fight.
Oh, sure.
They're like, this is just another day in Metropolis or whatever.
Yeah, a spectacle.
Yeah.
So anyway, that would round off our questions because there was the last one they had. Well, will there be any X-Men stuff?
Which obviously no.
No, yeah, it ended up not being any of that. So. All of that was kind of like working through all of the kind of prediction angle side of the film, but then just sort of like general takeaway type stuff. I mean, obviously you got to talk about like sort of the Fantastic Four themselves. So you've got Reed Richards, of course, played by Pedro Pascal.
Yep.
And I mean, it's crazy because like sometimes I think that there's the like Icarus fly too close to the sun problem when people just become like hyper popular and they sort of keep knocking it out of the park, is that we keep expecting them to be like better and better and better, and they become like, like such a household name and like a heartthrob and like all the things. And he's just a very good actor.
Yeah.
Like, plain and simple.
He does. I almost felt like in this movie, like because I guess I'm used to like, in Mandalorian or Game of Thrones or like The Last of Us or whatever, where it's like he's a much more like aggressive, like shoot first, ask questions later kind of character a lot of times.
Yeah.
And like this one, he's like a much like more dialed back version of this, of that. So like at some points I felt like they're not letting him like go like, I thought maybe there'd be a point where it's like, they gave it to Sue Storm where it was like release the Kraken kind of.
Exactly.
But like there wasn't like Reed never got to that point where he was just like, that's it,
Right.
Time to show you why I'm the leader,
Well, but it reminds me of the first Avengers movie. There's like that amazing scene where they're sort of like, all knocked on their butts and they kind of need to like have the turning point in the battle or whatever. And Steve, I think, is like standing on top of like a taxi and he starts giving like orders.
Yeah.
And he's giving orders in a way that is very like like it's almost as like the orders themselves and like kind of taking the initiative to be the leader in that moment is the superpower. Like it's not the extreme strength. It's not like anything else. It's like the extreme goodness dialed in with like the knowledge and the importance of teamwork and like it all, and then it all works. It's like you here, you up there, go. Like, and they do it and it works.
Right.
And I felt like he frequently had that role. Like they're like, you know, fighting Silver Surfer in space and they're traveling at, you know, light speed and everything's happening and like the baby's coming. And so he's kind of like partially in dad mode, partially in math mode, partially in safety mode, partially in piloting mode. Like, it's like it's like you can
having
see
to delegate a lot of tasks.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool, but you're right. There was almost like a calibration that had to happen with what you perceive out of Pedro Pascal. And then like watching him be this character who is like almost anxious, you know, like kind of struggles with, like everything that is going on inside of his mind.
Right.
But like the way in which he's upset, like when Sue is down at the end, I mean, it's just like, you're just like, he's losing his wife.
Losing his wife.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's like, I just believed it.
Yeah. What I would say what I really liked about what they did with all four of the characters is that like they were all, you knew them, you knew that they used to be like astronauts or whatever, and like they cared about like space exploration and stuff. And like they came back with the superpowers, but like that didn't like change their personalities at all. Like they now have the powers and they use them, but it's like it didn't often seem like their first resort. Like it's not like, okay, Galactus is coming, everyone go strap up, you know.
Right.
You know, it was like Galactus is coming and Reed's like, well, yes, I have superpowers, but what I'm actually gonna do is try and invent something.
Sure.
You know. And like that was just sort of like consistent all the way through. Like Johnny, like he has superpowers and he can literally fly up to space in like Human Torch form, or like right to the edge of it anyway.
Right.
And like he keeps just getting ready. He's like, when are we going back to space? When are we going back to space? You know.
Right.
Like I like he wanted to be an astronaut. He got to go to space, and he hasn't gotten to go back, and that's what he wants to do.
Right. Right.
You know?
They have like the whole thing with like the suits.
Yeah.
Like it's like, you know, it's like such a big, and then everybody's excited about the suits.
Yes.
Which I love too.
Yeah.
That was nice. Like, we got the new suits. They're basically the same as before, just blue.
Yeah. Just blue.
No, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, I thought there was like a cool balance. Yeah, we'll keep going through it so we don't cover too much at once. But so then we have obviously Sue Storm, played by Vanessa Kirby, Invisible Woman, which I would say that was another thing that was kind of like a big detail here, is that it didn't really seem, maybe with the exception of like the cartoons or like the cereal boxes or whatever, they didn't really seem to be like Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, you know, like the Human Torch,
the thing.
They just sort of like they were those things.
They were those things.
You know, but like, you know, it wasn't like as important to like snap the label right there onto it.
Right. Yeah, it definitely wasn't. Like they didn't call each other by that. They all just called each other by their names the whole time.
Right.
There was like, you know, I guess they accepted the moniker of Fantastic Four, and maybe in the cartoons they had those like nicknames or whatever.
Right. Yeah. But then of course there's a very self-aware thing with like the Thing. It's like, it's clobbering time.
Right. Yeah.
You know, where
it's like say the thing. Say the thing. Say the thing.
What time is it, Ben? No, Johnny. Say it. I don't wanna.
Guys, it's just a TV show. I don't actually say that.
Yeah.
But no, I thought that, you know, Sue was an awesome character. I thought the scene where she like literally takes Franklin out into the plaza, like where everybody's like protesting, and she just like talks to them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's crazy to think about, because you're like, part of you is sort of thinking like, wow, that's such a risk to like go and take your baby out into like a known, these people are mad at you situation. And specifically what they're mad about is that you won't give Franklin to Galactus, and you're just carrying him right out there.
I know. Well, I mean, I felt like it felt like a real power move. She's like, you want me to give the baby over? She's like, here's a baby. You want me to give this baby to a space monster? And like, as soon as she brought him out, they were all just sort of like, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing though. It's like, it's having face-to-face discussion is so much harder, because you have to see the pain that you could inflict on another person. And when we are so separated through, you know, digital technology and you know, keyboards and all that, it's like it's very easy to be mean, you know, but then when you have to look at the person and be mean to their face, it's sort of like, does that change things? And it's like, I think that's what Sue was trying to make the point. Like, I'm going to make you look at my child.
And the thing is, I think it was really good that Sue did it, because like, if you want to like zoom out to like her powers or whatever, she was like, I'm going to be extremely visible to you.
Yes.
When as the Invisible Woman.
Oh yeah, it's a very good point. Yeah, that's
a
great observation. Like, she's literally like, taking the power and And what she's actually doing is leveraging it. I mean, it's like they keep talking about like Archimedes and like, give me a lever, I can move the earth.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's you're literally using the power in its opposite manner in a way to like leverage the position. Which is, I didn't pick up on that. It's a great observation.
Thank you.
Yeah. So in all, and I thought Vanessa Kirby as well as Sue was amazing. I feel like we are only destined to see more of her in other projects as well. I think she will just continue to blow up. I loved her in The Crown when I first saw her, and
they did such a good job of not like a lot of times there'll be like one character who carries like they're the emotional heartstring of this movie or whatever. Yeah. And I felt like they really did a good job of letting all four of them be that at different moments.
Absolutely.
Like very like early in the movie, it's the Thing. Like everyone else is sort of like preoccupied with their other things, and he's like he's like talking Reed down, and he's like telling Sue she's going to be a great mom and all these other things, and he's like keeping them all level-headed.
Right.
But then later on, you get to see like Reed struggle with the anxiety of like trying to save the entire Earth and and trying to be a dad and what all that's going to mean. And then you have Johnny at one point. He's like, no, you know what? Don't take me instead. I'll do it. You can have me. Don't take the baby. I'll do it. I'll make the sacrifice.
You know what? I thought that line was crazy in the conversation between Johnny and the Silver Surfer, where she was like, the funny thing is that if he was older, he would do it. He would just take on this responsibility to save his planet. And she's like, I mean, she's of course saying that because she did it.
Yeah.
You know, but I was like, oh, it's so insane too. Like it because it's like there's something pure about a child. It's like they deserve the opportunity and the right to get there on their own.
Right.
But like, it's like, I love how sacred we consider that journey, that it's like that could even be true. And chances are that if you're growing up with two parents who are superheroes and you also have superpowers, like it or not, you will have that mantle thrown upon you.
There's no doubt.
You know,
especially because he clearly has superpowers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And being the child of those two in particular, it's like, of course they're going to sacrifice themselves to save everyone. That's what the hero does.
I know.
But you can't ask that of a baby.
It's like, it's so funny that the Silver Surfer can have that perspective, and she's like probably right. But that for someone like Galactus, who is eternally like he's like, it's like 20 years would be nothing to him, you know?
Oh, sure, yes.
Right? Like, it's like a cosmic blip, and they can't wait that time for him to grow up and just do the sacrifice, you know? They're like, no, we're coming now.
I'm coming now. Right.
Yeah.
That's true. That's a very good point.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, but I mean, at that rate, they had 20, they already warned them. The Galactus' plan to have the Silver Surfer warn the planet that they're coming is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, it feels, that's where I feel like it's slightly Thanos-ish, where it's like, it's not violent, it's just sort of like, it just is, you know?
Yeah, I suppose, I say that, but this is sort of like, to him, it's probably like, it'd be like if I was like, you know what, maybe we should warn the ants first, you know?
Oh, sure,
like,
yeah.
You know, like, guys, just so you know, I am going to be just eviscerating your whole anthill, just right now.
The extermination is
say goodbye to your loved ones, there's literally nothing you can do about it.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And well, the other question too there is that like the phrase that we get from the Silver Surfer, what is it? It's like die with those you love or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I guess on some level too, it's like, I guess there some question as to whether or not like she's doing it of her own accord. Like this is her basically being like, you know, like you need to, like she's empathizing with those who are right to die.
Like, yeah, maybe. It's like, but that seems like her purpose too. She's the herald of Galactus.
True. Yeah, that is that. You're right. Yeah, that would be the exact point.
Although that being said, Silver Surfer loved her character too.
Yeah, I mean, I first saw her in the drama series Inventing Anna.
Yeah.
Which is about Anna Delvey, and she's an amazing actress in that too.
Yes,
and
God, I can't remember her name either.
I know, but when she popped up, I was like, what?
Yeah. Julia Gardner, who, if you haven't watched Ozark, you should watch her in that. She plays Ruth, and she is so good.
Yeah. But I mean, I thought the whole Silver Surfer sequence ended up working out really well. I loved Johnny's like kind of interest in her and the whole like running like is the surfboard like part of the body or
Yeah.
like, you know, like it, like
Dude.
it's even like at the end he's like explaining to the makeup artist like, so for clarity, like the surfboard is not part of the body. Yeah.
Dude, I loved how the surfboard was used like as a surfboard, like over and over and over.
Yes.
Yes. It was so fun to see it used and not just like I have a board. It's like, no, I actually surf on it on physical things too.
Right, yes. And the Silver Surfer to me is a character that's very hard to depict in a way that like is cool. I mean, maybe it's also like the Reed Richards problem because it's this super chrome person on a surfboard.
Yeah.
And so there are some things that are just kind of like inherently like goofy about that to
Nah,
me.
they crushed it with this though.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I loved that like when they're up in space and Johnny goes up there and he's like looking at her and you can even see like himself reflected in her.
Yeah.
Like it's like even that was cool.
Even that was it's like exactly. He's reflected in her because he's also willing to make the sacrifice.
Exactly, yes. Yeah.
But man, when she arrives, her entrance in the movie is epic. She is like she has so much aura in that moment.
Yes,
you know?
definitely.
It's like they do this thing where the camera's rotating around her, but she's turning her head at the same time.
Yeah.
And then you finally see it, and it was like, oh, and then she appears on the Jumbotron at the exact same moment.
Right.
It was like, man, that was a cool entrance.
It was also wild to me, like the way that the technology worked and sort of like media worked in terms of like everything that was sort of just like happening. It's like, I guess in a world that's like accustomed to like major attacks and stuff like that, it's sort of just like they're like at the ready. But it's almost like she landed and like all cameras were pointed at her and the whole world was hearing it all at once.
Yep.
It was just sort of like, okay, here we go. Yeah, that was really cool. Then let's move on to Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, because I thought this was a character. This is Joseph Quinn. I thought this was a character that they have changed a lot, and I would argue for the better.
Oh yeah, from like the Chris Evans like Human Torch.
Yes, like he still has like a degree of that sort of like younger brother, kind of cocky bachelor like vibes to him.
A little bit, but like the Chris Evans Human Torch is like clearly like interested in girls and he's hooking up with whoever he wants and he's like loving the spotlight, whereas like this guy's like, ladies, he's single. He needs somebody. All right, help my brother out here.
Right.
You know, it seems like he's almost more like desperate than he is like a hot commodity.
Right. Well, and then beyond that as well is that like he almost seems more like the adrenaline junkie in like the Chris Evans version. Like it's just sort of like he's in it for the thrills. He's kind of like the like arrogant and stuff like that. But like this version of him seemed like he's an astronaut. He is super smart in his own right.
Right.
He has skills and abilities, and they extend beyond being able to, like, engulf himself in fire.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool. Like, the fact that, like, when it comes to decoding, like, the voice and doing a translation, it's like, I know one fragment, and I can use that as, like, my cipher.
Yes, that was so cool. Yeah, like, because they didn't make Johnny an idiot, which was... that was refreshing.
It was. It very much was.
Yeah.
So he's in there like doing like his own work that ends up showing up later. And I even thought the records that they were using was really, really interesting. It was a neat homage to like the Voyager,
the gold records.
The golden record, yeah. So that's a real thing. So like on the Voyager, what would it be? It's not really a satellite, like...
Yeah, space probe. Yeah.
Space probe. It's basically just got like human voices in different languages that are projected into space. So the fact that they were engraving all of these things onto golden records, I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
I know.
They're like doing it in reverse. Like this is like us receiving the transmissions.
That's exactly what they were doing too.
Yeah.
So if you saw Elio earlier this summer, which you should. Very good.
Yeah, it's also heavily featured in there.
Yeah.
So I loved Johnny's character. I thought it was awesome. I thought the whole thing ended up working out really well.
Well, because they like what they did with Johnny was like they made him like the surprisingly like he's like the emotional half of like to it's like his emotional intelligence is way higher than like Reed's, and like that's basically what what's his butt Ben, the thing, tells him at one point, he's like, you're not the smartest person in the world. And he's like, can you cook?
Right,
and he's like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Did you pass your driver's exam?
Yeah, like, there were many problems. It was poor signage.
Right, yes. It's like, even that's kind of brilliant. Like, put limitations on characters who otherwise have brilliance.
Right.
That's how the real world works. That brings us to The Thing, which is going to play by Eben Moss.
Yes.
And yeah, I think once again, it was a pretty fantastic depiction.
It was
of
like
the character
because like the good thing, I think the Thing and the Human Torch always have like their little like banter with each other where they just sort of like annoy each other, and like they captured that so perfectly in this movie.
Yes.
It's like in the, I don't know, the 2005 version, it's sort of like Ben is constantly just being annoyed by Johnny, but this was like very much a two-way street where like we clearly both respect each other, and this is almost like a game we play to see who can annoy each other the most.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Like they're actually best friends, not just Ben best friends with Reed Richards having to deal with Sue's younger brother who gets to be there because.
Right. It's like, it's like they're not like reluctant teammates. They are best friends.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I thought it worked really well. We got a little bit of the setup for Ben to have some type of romantic life.
Yes.
Which I'm sure will come back more in the future. That was kind of like fun to see.
Was it Natasha Lyonne? Natasha Lyonne, yes.
Yes. Who I feel like I was first introduced to in Orange is the New Black.
Yes, Orange is the New Black.
As Nichols.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like she popped up and I was like, whoa, wait, what?
I know. It was like a bit of a jump scare. I was like, whoa, you're not like, whoa, you're all cleaned, you're all gussied up.
Right, yeah.
Look at you.
So crazy.
You don't look like a crazy wisecracking prison mate.
Right, yeah. So that was really fun. That was really cool. It'll be interesting to see more of that unfold. That felt like we were just kind of getting like the first little taster of what will be a much more significant narrative.
Yes.
I think down the line to pull someone as big as her to come in and play that particular role. I like the fact that he like grows like facial hair.
Yeah.
Although the one thing I would say is that when he had a beard, he reminded me so much of Red Guardian from like Black Widow's like dad.
Oh yeah.
Like that's who he like looked like all of a sudden with the beard.
With the beard, yeah.
I was like, huh,
what do you know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll
tell you what they're going to be setting up. What will do this because it is like everyone's favorite thing in the comics is Hulk versus the Thing.
Oh, sure.
Like that is like a constant like who would win. It's like one of the most famous comic book arguments, and it's like we just had better get it. Okay, you got it. Don't let us down, Marvel. Give us Bruce Banner versus the Thing at some point. It needs to happen.
Yeah. Even just for funsies.
Absolutely, it's going to be for funsies. Like clearly, it's going to like resolve itself, and they'll fight on the same side because they're that's how it's going to work because they're all the good guys. But
speaking of the Thing, how fun was it when Galactus threw him into space?
Oh my gosh, yes, that was hilarious. He's on him and he just like tosses him, but he tosses him so hard he throws him into space.
Yes, the relationship with space throughout the whole film I felt like was so like it's just right there.
Yeah,
like space is just part of the environment.
Not really that far away.
Yeah. We just deal with that.
Yeah,
just deal with that. No problem.
John just goes up and gets him, and they turn him into a giant cannonball.
Yeah. Okay, so who else do we have to cover? Galactus?
Galactus himself. So so we touched on it earlier, played by Ralph Ineson, but he was great. He was a really interesting character because it's like he's not malicious per se. Yeah. It's like he like must consume as per his being.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so it definitely is. I mean, I guess part of it is almost sort of like what makes planets subject to consumption.
Yeah, they didn't really get into that. They were like, these 5 have like, there was like it seemed like there was a reason that they were targeted, but like they didn't say what the reason was.
Right. But they also seem to be like, for the most part, inhabited planets, which is also kind of interesting because he just scoots right past Jupiter.
Right. That's
like,
true. It's like there were plenty of other planets.
Right. Yeah. Can grab one of them. We could probably live without Uranus.
Right, we can do without that. Well, how's that going to affect us?
Right. But bad for indigestion.
Yeah.
Because it's so gaseous. Space jokes.
Oh, you're gassy Uranus.
You heard it here first, people. No, you probably didn't. It's like the oldest joke literally in the books.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but yeah, no, I thought it definitely made for an interesting villain. It definitely seems like it's going to be something that's going to go on to continue to be a problem. I'm very interested to see whether or not, like, we've cooked the bear. I think that's the really big question, is like whether or not he is going to be mad at the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, now it's like, well, now I'm coming back.
Right.
Because, I mean, the Fantastic Four have such good, like, massive Marvel enemies. Like Thanos and Ultron are such like Avengers enemies, but like in terms of like greatest power enemies in Marvel, it is typically like Doctor Doom and like Galactus. They're like, and they're both just Fantastic Four enemies, you know?
Right.
Yeah, their rogues gallery is insane.
Right. So yeah, a lot more to come. Honestly, it made me very optimistic. I think about like, what we can expect out of these films. I think that they're you know, I was kind of like scrolling through like the films that I feel like we haven't loved as much recently, and I'm just sort of like, yeah, there have not been necessarily like straight homers. And sometimes like I can't tell if like we're being too critical or if like Endgame left us in like with too much of like an appetite ourselves for more stuff. Cause like, I mean, if you go back to like phase 1 of the MCU, you know, you've got like the Hulk in there. Like the first Thor
great.
movie is kind of only okay.
Thor 2 really bad.
Right. Like Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3 are both not nearly as good as Iron Man, the original. So
right.
it's like, I think sometimes we probably have a very romanticized view of how well everything always went.
Right.
Because I think somewhere along the way we were all just so invested into like what happens next, and like we really wanted to know. So I think you know there's probably something to be said there, but
like what I think is like that people like talked about superhero fatigue or whatever, and then since then it's been like, oh, you're tired? Well, here's even more.
Here's even more.
Yeah, and it's like, well, that's a problem. But like the past like 3 weeks with the like Superman and the Fantastic Four, what it has made me feel like is like people have superhero fatigue, but like people want to like superhero movies.
It's
like
true.
it's like I like you want them to be good. You want to be excited about them. So like I am like, and like these two, like I haven't seen what the reviews on Fantastic Four are. I can't imagine they're going to be bad because it was good. Yeah. But like Superman was good. Fantastic Four was good. Like it feels like, have we hit a reset button? Are we, like with Kevin Feige saying we're going to like scale it back, we're going to focus on quality, not quantity. It's like, I think that's good. Because I think people do want to like superhero movies. They're just like inundated.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It just really just becomes so much. So yeah, I mean, I would say that like, you know, walking out of the theater, it definitely left me with my my faith meter, my trust meter, you know, in what comes next being higher than it was walking in.
Yeah.
I ultimately didn't have terribly high expectations just because I think I've just kind of regulated myself to be in that position. But I was very, like, I really super enjoyed the movie. I thought it was super fun. I loved the styling. I loved the setting. I loved the characters. I loved the acting. I thought the whole thing kind of came together in a way that was really awesome. So I personally would mark this one probably at like a 90.
That's exactly what I was going to say, 90.
Yeah.
Yes. There we go. Boom.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys thought in the towel section down below. Or if you have any other questions, or did it change your faith in Marvel as an entity? Yeah, give us all of your thoughts. We're thirsting to know. We've got a hunger for them.
A hunger. Did you guys get the popcorn bucket? Because look, it lights up.
Question number next. Yeah.
This is the best one they've come out with so far.
It's pretty amazing. It's so huge. But Joel, as always, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future reviews from us. Also, did you like this format where we kind of like broke down a little bit of what we expected right before we went to see the film and then came back and sort of like reviewed what we ultimately saw? Let us know. If you'd like to check out another review we've just done recently, we've got Elio from Pixar right here. Also, I think it has an amazing new addition to the Pixar theory.
Yes, it does. You want to see that? It fits into the Pixar theory. We made that video too.
Yes, we did indeed. But guys, otherwise, until next time,
bye!